down. Well, listen, it can all change for the better now, Shogun. What do you think?
Let's find out, shall we? Let's see whether or not the next generation can take on the other next generation of Rocket League players. Dignitas looking to try and bounce back. They had a very disappointing major for themselves. They're already finding themselves down in this lower bracket. A loss against Liquid, and suddenly the wheels start to come up on their season.
Yeah, I'm really looking at this Dig team and wondering what their spring split is going to look like. They are one of the teams that I'm most concerned about getting upset and not making the major, because they have been on a downward trend. You know, potential for new coach coming in, that's going to change a lot of things up for them. We really need to see that work ethic come back from this team of we want to be the best, to really make that splash in the spring split and in Worlds and Wildcard. But starting off, Liquid looking strong.
Yeah, Liquid controlling the field, although if you did want some goal line defenders, not really going to find too many better than the ones you've got over on Dignitas. Now Scrub Killer looks for a shot, not much power on it. Easily palmed away first time. Feels like we've been waiting for the longest time just to see Liquid over on these mainstreams. Do have their opportunity after some very disappointing performances from themselves over in Season X. Good positioning once again. Scrub Killer, highlight player so far for Dignitas. He's all over the place, cutting out certain plays. Off the backboard, Jorius moves the ball clear, but that's about as good as Dignitas have done so far. Bump on Scrub Killer. He's now on the backboard. He did recover in time, just needed a bit of help.
Yeah, you got to respect the strategy behind the org of Liquid, where they went, let's just rebuild, let's get some young players. We know it works in Rocket League. We've just seen XKSO, now Moist, doing so well after signing young players who've got potential. That's really what Liquid are trying to do here with Oski Atau, and Chronic was one of the star players, the unknown players in RLCS X, who's now coming back finally. Be interested to see how this Liquid team develops, but one thing we can know for sure is they could win an event. They could pop off, and it's because of these kinds of transitions, the speed, the angles they're able to produce. As we see Chronic messing up there, it's fine. He's in position now to score.
Yeah, just choose to do something else, create a new objective for yourself, and Chronic, the linchpin of this team, has put them on the board. This Liquid team is one that I think many in Europe are going to be very scared of. You'll be hoping for anyone else just that they have a couple of bad performances from themselves, because once those results start rolling in, Gregan, you get the feeling that it'll become a natural occurrence for them, but until then, you're hoping that the nerves are just too much.
Yeah, the close qualifiers from these guys in Regional 3 of the Winter Split was very poor. Like, we saw a team that had so much anticipation, underperformed majorly. They were panicking everywhere, rushed in so many parts of the pitch. Once these guys settle down and start being a bit more in control, that's where the mechanics they're capable of are scary and threatening.
Yeah, it's once the close qualifiers become normal to them, suddenly that becomes easier. Then once these rounds become normal, that becomes easier.
Experience.
Getting that experience, yep. And as a 15-year-old player, experience is very, very hard to come by. Scrub Killer now off the wall. Again, I've been very impressed with Scrub's performances. He does need a bit of help down this side of the field. Dorius chooses to try and go by himself, and Chronic, as always, very proactive. Just takes away the danger.
Yeah, I do have a lot of questions for Jorius this split. One of the players who is peak performances, quite a lot of based off of his low hours, confidence and everything. But over time, that low hours confidence can eventually grind you down, and you can lose that flair factor that you had, the scary ability he was capable of when he popped off so much in the full split. We need to see him step up and be that carry role that he was so capable of early on in this season.
Oh, big demo. Oski's all by himself against Perry Jack, who just roused the crossbar. Dignitas had to make something from that. And unfortunately, the shot just wasn't there. Joris, you can see loitering in the background. Is he going to try and take out the keeper? Nope, didn't get a chance. But this is Dignitas' best passage of play. They need to go from it.
Opportunity. Just taking it straight towards the defense, giving them the ability to take control. They need to be taking players out the game, not giving them the ball back. As we see Joris going for the double tap, just missing out. Jack, point blank range, sends the shot. A Chronic sends it away. Possession still for Dignitas here. Jack in control, goes for the bump. Opportunity for Scrub to fake. Can Joris make it in time? Sends it straight at the defenders once again. They need to play around them, not at them.
Oski has given that breathing room over to Team Liquid. 40 seconds on the clock. Dignitas showed the best of themselves. Joris looks for Oski one more time. Oski just delays, gets done, but apparently Jack saves his own shot.
Unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. He got the outplayed blocked the defender from clearing it, but then was just in an awkward position, no boost left, pinches that ball away. And Dignitas are going to be feeling confident going into the next game, knowing they are capable of scoring. They just need to get that final blow a little bit more creative. There's still time. Jack just wide, scrub on target. A towel sending it home. This is so important right now for Dignitas for their confidence, because Liquid are in so much control as we see the rule 1 flick high, 2v2, 0 seconds. Can they make it happen? Scrub Killer keeps it up. Bull's still alive. And that ball's going to be touching down as Liquid hold off the onslaught of Dignitas offense.
Confident or frustrated? It's going to be one or the other heading into the next game, as all you've had eyes on the other games happening across the RLCS space. What's happening elsewhere?
Well, we got K-Corp winning over Luminosity 2-1 in their first matchup. We have Misfits. Endpoint has just started. Endpoint has already scored 1. Wolves is up 2-0 against Semper. That's how that's looking. But I mean, looking at this Dig Liquid game, is this, Greg, and since you're a coach, you have coaching experience, is this detrimental to the focus and the mindset of Dig to lose this game 1?
It really depends on the player you're talking to. I think knowing these guys, they'll feel confident that their game plan is there, that they just need to up the execution. They are capable of scoring so many of these opportunities they had. They know that that's there, so they don't need to change the game plan. They just need to play individually better. So I don't think they're going to change too much. For Liquid, they're just going to be feeling confident that they won the game. You know, at this point, they are just gaining experience, and every single game, they're just going to be going into it with the mindset of, if we win, that's good enough.
Would you say it's a worthwhile win sorry, would you would you say that was a worthwhile win for them, Shogun, to beat Dig in that 1-0? Or would you say that Dig was in control of that game?
Listen, I don't want to keep harping on over and over again about these guys' age, but I feel like it's important to really represent them. They don't care. At this age, you take a win however you can get it, because once you get a scrappy win, suddenly the easy win becomes a little bit easy for you, as Dignitas still don't have a goal, and you don't get closer than that.
And the thing about that is Jorius had the opportunity to finish it. He just misread the bounce off the inside of the corner. It looked like the old DVD logo bouncing in the corner, and he wasn't able to read it, and that's going to be detrimental to their mental. We said about them feeling confident about their game plan, but they should be finishing that. It doesn't get easier.
Yeah, I was asking whether or not it's going to be frustration or not. It's definitely frustration now. You can not be anything else, as we do see Oski off the backboard. Can he get there? No, Scrub Killer intercepts just in time. Defensively, it has been survival mode for Dignitas. They have struggled to really dictate the play from there, but outside of that, Liquid have been on their own heels, but haven't been punished for it just yet. It looks like Dignitas have got the better of them, but scoreline-wise, you wouldn't see it.
Yeah, the kind of opportunities Dignitas are going for are a little bit too slow paced now. It's allowing Liquid to reset. One thing Liquid really let themselves down in is they don't have the same patience of a lot of other more mature teams. They throw themselves in over and over again, and if you can get a quick punish game in, you'll find a way to counterattack on them, on a player with low boost in an awkward position. They've not utilized that just yet.
Oh, there's apparently Jack. Double commit. Still good recoveries, though, over on the side of Liquid, and a good shot as well from Chronic. No fear over there from him. I'm very happy just to dive on in when you've got those sort of defenders around you that he does. You start to get a bit of confidence to dive in a little bit more often, because you know they can deal with it. Glorious, only as far as a towel, not too much power. Scrub Killer back into the corner, but that doesn't fight Team Liquid back in, as Oski almost put it behind the goalkeeper. A little bit too far. And now apparently Jack, what a musty flick that was. That was so much power, and still Team Liquid in position to get rid of it.
Yeah, because they're trying to set up for these solo plays in space. What Liquid are doing is just waiting for them to set it up, and then letting them use 50-odd boost, and then intercepting the ball late on in the play. And it means that it's taking those Dignitas players out the game, so they're not able to keep sustained pressure. Liquid have got a good game plan here, whether they're trying to do it or not. And this is the kind of punish game we're talking about. Liquid overcommit all the time. And if you're just patient and win the neutral game over and over again, you're going to break them down.
I do like Jorius just making the goal a bit larger, just in case. You know, we've seen the shooting from Dignitas. They could do with the entire backboard being a goal from what we have seen. But we also know that that might be the goal that just sort of kicks it on, where the gameplay might start to be represented by the scoreline.
Can I rescind a comment just there? I said break them down. I think in that situation, Liquid broke themselves down by all going in the air at once.
Yes, definitely so. Oh, they're going to maybe need more of that as they are a goal down, and power shot is wide. Oski puts himself in a bad spot. Durabuch is going to start diving away, and now Tao called into action. See a couple of bump attempts over on the goal line. Dignitas settling into their own rhythm. Here is Jack. Sets up. Jorius chooses not to dive on in. Instead, it's a one-on-one aerial battle. Does incredibly well. Might even get a second block if needed. Instead, Scrub Killer comes to take over.
This is better. The 50s coming through. Really nice from Dignitas. They're taking Liquid out of the game, opening up opportunities. And in particular, Scrub Killer has been looking to focus on the challenge game, not trying to do anything too over-committing. And it's working beautifully as they're gaining possession of the ball. And that's really the key in these kinds of matchups. The more opportunities you get by having that stronger possession, the better your chances of winning, as it's going to frustrate Liquid and they're going to try and force a goal in these moments, and that's when they overcommit.
That's going to be a big problem here for Liquid, is that they are so strong on those challenges that it's going to be very easy for them to start to default over to that. But if there's ever a team you're taking on that you don't want to be trying to challenge a 50-50 game against, it's going to be Dignitas. They are usually known as somewhat good at that style of play.
Yeah, the old 1v1s.
Yes, definitely going to prepare you for a matchup like this one, as we do see a very late save. Puts the ball over the top. 45 seconds.
Well, the game's flown by.
Certainly has. As we go underneath, Oski fakes out something different. Didn't aim for the challenge, and instead it's a Chronic who's got his second.
Beautiful play from Oski there, setting up the threat with that flip reset. Recognizes Jorius is backwards to the ball, not in a strong position to challenge. Weaves it around him off the backboard. In comes a Chronic to finish that ball, and we see the scoreline equalize. The first moment of brilliance from Liquid really coming through there, punishing Jorius' mispositioning.
Back out again. Liquid have managed to fight back here. Now looking for a second one. Apparently Jack caught out. Recovery not quite there from a tap, but he has got a block. I think there might be an option here for a Chronic. Instead, goes off the backboard. A miss from Jorius, maybe caught off. By the way, might not matter too much, given how Scrub is going to get there just in time to clear away. Although off angle, shooting on target yet again. Goalkeeper stand strong.
Good speed. And that's just going to kill it. I think this right now is in Liquid's control. They seem to be punishing some awkward positioning from Dignitas. This has been the big difference from them now compared to at the start of their journey in the 21-22 season. They looked so fluid, rotated so fast as a team. Now they find themselves a bit stagnant at times, not able to flow off of each other. And in particular, it comes from Jorius. He finds himself with his back to the ball far too often now.
It's been difficult against a player, especially like Oski. As it's going to be a Tau up against Jorius. Past one, and Jorius
great save.
Whoops across, and now he's got control of the ball. Almost managed to take it the entire way. Instead, it's off the bump. Ball off the backboard. First one there will be Oski. Didn't want to set up the easy clear. Instead, tried to go by himself, but he didn't have any support around. Chronic with a Tau just behind him. Taking away that clearing angle for apparently Jackson. Instead, puts it over to Jorius, who was just sat right underneath. Now Jorius, oh my goodness, a Chronic. I don't think he would have known too much about that one, but he reacted quick enough.
Yeah, he probably was expecting that very simple play from Jorius to take it past three players, but it did in the end, and that's where these reaction speeds of the younger players are so important. Be able to react to this. I don't know if Fruity at the ripe old age of 26 now, something like that, would have been able to react to those kinds of moments. These guys are having to change their game plan at the last moment as the chaos is obviously taking out this Dignitas team. They cannot deal with these unorthodox touches. A Tau sending that wide. The pre-jumps from Dignitas not reading the play. A Chronic cleaning up the scraps as chaos works beautifully for Liquid.
Orb?
Yeah.
Just confirm for me, Dignitas on the verge of elimination, right? Just... I can't believe it.
Listen, let me double check my notes here. Yep, it does seem. I just got the numbers in. It does look like Dignitas could potentially lose out here. But they're not the only one, all right? They're not the only one. Luminosity is also down 2 games, okay? Karman Corp looking to sweep as well. Liquid looking to sweep. Endpoint had a 5-2 win over Misfits in their game 1, even though the game started so late. Endpoint started with a bang in their game number 1, currently 0-0 in game 2. Semper is currently, let's see here, Semper is, no, Wolves, sorry. Wolves is up by 1 in game number 2 over Semper. So those are the results. I wanted to ask you guys, I mean, do you guys think that K-Corp is going to sweep Luminosity? Should they beat them, technically?
I mean, there's no reason to say no on that one. This is the great part. Me and Gregan were chatting to each other before we came into this, and Gregan was like, where's all my note? How do I not know? Oh, wait, there are brand new rosters for the vast majority of them. Like, this is us learning. Everyone at home is learning about these teams. It's us learning about these teams. This is what is the fun part. I mean, I say fun part. I would like if my previous notes still had any relevance whatsoever. But instead, we get to sit here, we get to watch, we get to go through the eye test and see if these teams and new rosters are working.
I mean, that's exciting with Rocket League, though. The fact that there are so many changes happening. What team is going to end up where, or what player is going to end up where, and what team is going to take control. But here we go. Is Liquid going to sweep? That is the question. Let's find out.
I think this
is the best position that Liquid as an org have been in Rocket League in the last year plus that we've had them.
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly with the way that this game has gone. Is we don't really know what Liquid are expecting of themselves. This is experience for them, but that can sometimes be the most dangerous asset for them as a team. We saw it work so well with Queso in the past. You know, they come in, they want to win, but there's no expectation for them to do it. So they can come in as an underdog and really just enjoy this experience, taking down titans like Dignitas.
Well, the thing is as well, if you are Dignitas coming into this, you don't really know what to expect. You played these guys in ranked, you know what they can do mechanically. You might have some habits that you think that they have, but that's ranked. Players have different habits when the pressure is on. And so far, they have not quite been able to dial in to what Team Liquid are doing. That being said, it has been an underperformance from Dignitas. We do expect more from them, especially in the shooting. First game. Starting to become more and more big as we go along. That's Chronic. He did get there first. Has he got the boost as well? Instead, causing a towel. Chronic's just going to keep that ball on. This is so difficult to read because Liquid, there's not a huge amount of power. I think if we can say one thing about what they do, they're not blasting the ball. And Dignitas are positioning for them as if they are going to, and it's just throwing them off.
Yeah, taking really good control of the ball whenever they can, and they're catching them off guard in these unorthodox moments. You know, we saw the first goal of the series was a Chronic missing the ball, landing in a great redirect position, ball boom to him, he scores. And it's those little things that it's hard to read when you're playing against a team that doesn't fully have control of the ball.
What a shot, Scrub Killer. Just set it up, realized there was 2 defenders, just had to hit and hope. And he did manage to slot it between the 2. What a hit. And I'll tell you what, Scrub, despite where they are, I've been impressed with Scrub in this series. He's been quick. He's been the tone setter. But I tuned in earlier on to both Leaf and Gibbs over on the Dignitas stream. If you do want to go and check them out, by all means, please do. But they had a thing that they were saying at the time, which is if Scrub Killer's the player leading, something's wrong over on Dignitas.
Oh, 100%. I was about to say the same thing. You know, we expect so much from the upcoming talent of Jorias and apparently Jack. We expect them to get better every split, every season. And they seem to be taking a little bit of a recline in their ability. And I think it might be coming from uncertainty as players, uncertainty as their play style. Hopefully, if they get a new coach in, they can start to redirect themselves towards that end goal of being the best team in the world. But right now, yeah, you said Scrub Killer is the most consistent player on this team, and that is concerning. That sounds harsh.
It does sound harsh. I expect consistency from the Scrub. I just don't expect him to be a game changer because that's not how he's positioned himself in this roster. Oh my goodness. No. What a setup. You know, Scrub has made it very publicly known that he likes to just settle back, make sure the rotation is all good. He considers himself very strong at that type of play. But if that type of play is what's leading the charge, then it does mean that the offense isn't quite clicking. Defensively, they've been fine. Conceding 3 across 2 games is not terrible. But offensively, something's not there.
Yeah, and we talk about the mental game as well. You know, Scrub is a player who historically has stepped up under pressure so well. That was his greatest asset as a player in his early career. And we look at this kind of setting, being in the lower bracket earlier than expected against a team unknown like Liquid. You really do have to step up, and Joria's right here. Powerful shot to the far side. It is though Scrub, the playmaker, sending it into that top corner, threatening a goal. Joria's cleaning up.
I do like some dick, because this is just basics right now. They are doing the basics. They're doing them well. That's the bread and butter of Rocket League you just saw. We've had that one ever since the RLC Pro League back in, I think, 2015, 2016?
About when Atao and Oski were born, right?
Yeah, pretty much. My goodness, they would have been 8 at the time of that tournament. Oh, dearie me, as we do get ourselves into the final minute of this game. Dignitas looking to try and fight back from potentially being swept. And the towel off the backboard, can't find the follow-up. I just want to see them continue to play simple. If it makes sense later on for Dignitas to bring out the really good solo plays that we do know they are capable of, then by all means go for it, but don't rely on it, especially when it's not working at the moment. You see Jorius taking the ball away, killing off more time from the clock. And Dignitas have set up a line on the halfway point, and they are just going to hold on to this offense for as long as they can. Jorius, will this be the confidence setter? Yes, it is. Jorius, a player that needed that.
Great touch from Jorius initially to send it high onto the backboard, make it impossible for Oski to read as he sends that down. A simple double tap for Jorius there. It did come off of a Chronic going for that Kuxir pinch off the sidewall, setting up the deep defender. And that's exactly what we've spoken about with this Liquid side. They are pure chaos, so hard to read. Who knows what they're doing? They don't even know what they're doing sometimes. They are going for the chaotic plays. And when you've got that consistent, solid game plan, like you mentioned, the old-fashioned Rocket League, simple shooting, simple plays like this, it works so well against the chaos as you're in control of what you're in control of, and any chaos they do will get negated by that simplicity.
Yep, 4-0 here. This game 3 is all but over in terms of the time, but 4-0, there's definitely nothing that Team Liquid are going to be able to do about this. And this is where suddenly you start to realize your own tournament mortality. You're not quite as in control as you once were. As apparently Jack started to flex some of those mechanical muscles. Jorius to himself off the wall. Will they get that number 5? There's nobody quite around to take the shot. As Team Liquid will deny it, at least for now. But 4-0, and Dignitas throwing a couple of question marks into the air about what the result of this series is going to be.
Yeah, I think it's unfair on those first 2 games to say Dignitas were completely useless in the way they were playing. They were very unlucky at times not to finish those opportunities. It was somewhat in their control in those moments, but really this game, the control came from the way they were playing, the decisions they were taking, grounded decisions, ones they could recover from quickly, and it meant that the chaotic style that Liquid were doing wasn't punishing them.
Orb, you've got eyes elsewhere. We're down 3 games. Is anybody been eliminated, or is everyone holding on?
I mean, I just want to point out that in lower round 1, we had so many potential sweeps that were about to happen. We did also have some sweeps happening. Then we also moved into lower round 2. We also had potential sweeps. Karma Corp could have swept, but Luminosity has not responded. They took game 3, but Karma Corp is now up 3-0 in their game 4. So maybe they just avoided the sweeping, so to speak. But maybe so did Dignitas as well. It's got to be interesting to see how that series shapes up. Misfits beat up Endpoint in game number 2. They are currently up 2-0 in game number 3. And Semper is currently the only team where it's still possible to sweep against Wolves Esport. They're currently up 1-0. Half the game still to go. Let's see if they can hang on to the sweeping dream in lower round 2. But those are the results so far. As it stands, my friends.
See, there's part of me that really does not like an Endpoint versus Misfits game, because either I've got to deal with a very sad Jorby or a very sad Cold and Stumpy. There's no real winning there.
Yeah, tomorrow's green room is going to be interesting if those results happen. I mean, the thing about the Misfits Evil Geniuses Endpoint journey that we've seen, as we see Jorius scoring early on in this game, not letting us talk about other games. Focus on me, Jorius says, as he gets that light touch. Scrub Killer with the 50-50. That's the stuff we're talking about. The juicy 50-50s that take players out the game, and they score early on, pretty much straight off the kickoff.
just becomes that once this game starts going for you, it just starts to feel a little easier, doesn't it? For love nor money, there would have been no way a goal like that would have gone in the first 2 games for Dignitas, but suddenly it just sort of pops up for you, doesn't it? As we do get the 1-0 lead for Dignitas. Looking to send us over to Champions Field for that game number 5. And this is now going to be a big test as well for Liquid, because we've seen what they can do when they are winning. This game and series is starting to slip away from them here. They're against a team that are very good once they find their possession, once they find their rhythm, at just settling into a game and easily taking a couple of games back-to-back against you without you really having much of a response. Oski fakes out. Apparently Jackie went to the ceiling, now off the side. Gonna be Oski up yet again. Atao's coming on from an off angle, so he's not as quick as he would like to be. Instead, tried to dump it off to a Chronic. Good possession here, but that was a bit naive there from Atao. Instead, set himself up, and it's going to be apparently Jack makes it too.
That pinch from Scrub right at Jack, definitely trying to center that one closer to the wall, but Jack staying a little bit deeper just in case it popped away and able to sneak it in below the crossbar. These guys are starting to read the game so much better, whether it be the intercepts, whether it be their teammates' touches. And it's that switched on mentality that we see from top tier players when they're really playing at their best.
Reading the game better than they were. Do get a clear, and you're already seeing much more aggressive positioning. Joris just loitering down to the opposite side of the field. Trying to become a target man. Dorius again does win the race to the ball. It's all up to Atao as to how he's going to get rid of this. Instead hits the ceiling, not going to quite get the clear that he needed. It's just handed back over to apparently Jack, who's waiting for it. Looks to set up. He's 1-on-1 against Oski. Goes off the backboard, and there's the support that they needed.
Yeah, it feels right now like the Dignitas roster has downloaded Liquid, as they seem to be so much more in control. Everything Liquid tries to do is getting blocked out. They're getting cut off at the source. They're getting rotations like this. You see apparently Jack just being a nuisance, going for bumps. And it's going to really frustrate Liquid, as it seems from their point of view like Dignitas have their number, as we see another goal from a bump. Apparently Jack open net opportunity. All 3 players of Dignitas contributing.
Look at just like Jorius is going straight through the middle because he knows there's a chance there's going to be a player that he can get rid of. It didn't make a big difference on this play, but they're just setting themselves up for the future. This Team Liquid are scrabbling just to keep themselves relevant in the present, and that's not the kickoff. Oh my goodness! Yes, no controllers to desync this time around. Instead, that was just a little bit of a whiff.
Yeah, Ronicky famously doing that kickoff back in the day, ex-Liquid player. Jumping in the air, and you never want to see a kickoff like that, but of all the times to do it when you're 3-0 down, it's not the end of the world.
Imagine, Gregan, you're an upcoming Rocket League player. You're looking forward to it. You find out that in the future, they're going to name a player after you. You're like, oh, I can't wait. And then that's what you get named after.
I feel kind of bad naming it, but everyone knows exactly the moment I'm talking about when I reference it. And if you haven't, it's one of the most unfortunate kickoff mistakes in history. It does
we can test it entirely. If you go and look up Ronicky kickoff and it's the first thing that comes up, then we can't get blamed anymore.
No, I mean, it's one of those where, like, if you mess up a kickoff, we've all done it in ranked. You mess up a kickoff and it leads to a goal, it happens. But to do it in the highest pressure moment and timing it as badly as some of these players might do, it must be so tough for them to recover from. And speaking of tough to recover from, Liquid are getting battered right now. As a young team, this is really going to test their mental. But as we mentioned before, this tournament is all about experience to them. They need to be battered at some point in their tournament careers to really understand what that feels like and come back from it.
Yeah, but they'd rather it isn't today, as they look to try and find some way back in. It's just the solo plays out of their own defense that have really worked for Dignitas. Hasn't really been an answer because Liquid are sitting so far back in their own side of the field. You can see how long it took for a Chronic to move in. Granted, they did have 0 boost, so difficult to get yourself over from there. Still, game 3 and 4, vastly different. You would say they're almost from an entirely different series. As Jorius looked to try and set up, doesn't quite work, but he won't be too worried about that for now. The way this game is going to start heading against him is if we can see Team Liquid get a goal from this, but nobody around. The tower's just recently been demoed.
This is probably going to be an open opportunity for Jack if he can center it well. Not quite. The ball just racing away from him there. They're not going to be too concerned about that, as they just have to play out the rest of this game. 30 seconds left without conceding 3 goals, and they'll be able to claim game 4, taking it to the potential reverse sweep of game 5. Although we did mention, despite those first few games going in Liquid's favor and Liquid looking the better team, Dignitas definitely had opportunities to score, and it wasn't due to Liquid being that much better. This series is very much in control of Dignitas.
It does seem like they will dictate how this goes. Now, they have been smashing Team Liquid in games 3 and 4. Can they keep it up in game 5? We will find out very shortly, and we're going to find out right now from Orb who's still in and who's out.
Well, Shogun, the action is heating up and getting wrapped up here as we're getting into the end of day number 1. Now, K-Corp has been able to finish off Luminosity. They won 3-1 in the series with a final 4-1 win in game number 4. Then we had Misfits is currently up 2-1 against Endpoint. They're also leading game number 4 with 1-0. And Semper Semper was looking so solid. They were up 2-0. They were about to sweep, and with about a minute left, all of a sudden, Wolves had scored twice. It went back into overtime, and Wolves won the overtime. So I don't know if that's maybe a little bit cracking under the pressure.
You can't get rid of Tadpole, man. You can't get rid of him. He's still here.
That's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been hearing. Do you think like the old experience? I say old. It feels weird to say old because one, Rocket League is such a young game, and some of these older players are like what, 20, 25, 26 at max. But yeah, you guys were talking about it earlier. Is it the old experience that comes into play to be able to, I don't know, clutch out the wins and do well in these important matches when it matters the most?
I think it sometimes just comes from drive, and I think that's if you can find a veteran player with drive and power. Yeah, I mean, if you can find an experienced player who's got the drive to perform at the best and the power to perform at the best, then we'll see them succeed in those moments. You see players like Garrett G who succeed time after time with that level of experience. But when it comes down to experience, if you've not got that same passion, you've still not got the same mechanics of these younger players who are coming through with a lot more passion and drive, then you're going to be beaten by them.
All right, well, it is time for the Champions Field Game 5 brought to you by Dacia. Guys, take it away. Is it Dignitas that's going to come back here? That is the question.
Well, from what we've seen so far, it is pretty much up to them. Team Liquid have not had an answer for a good 10 minutes of Rocket League so far. Will it be 15, or can they turn it around? The most telling game of Team Liquid's young careers, and a game that you can eliminate a lot of questions about yourself if you can step up in your first real test of how clutch you can be.
Yeah, we look at XKSO now, Moist. They were a team that struggled in Game 5s and Game 7s in the full split. They came into the winter split and were one of the most successful teams in those Game 5s. It really does separate the best teams from the rest, as the ability to step up and clutch after downloading your opponents and really understanding how they play. That's the real experience shower that makes the best teams win more.
Oski puts the ball up high. We do want to see Liquid just retain position a little bit better here in Game 5. Have been quite wasteful at times, just throwing it straight back over, though. That's a good fake. Now set. What a goal by Team Liquid!
Such a good play from a Tau here. Coming down the line, recognizes Jack's early jump, takes it low, draws in Scrub, centers it. Achronix there. Quick little nippy plays to take out the 3 defenders. And Liquid showing a little bit of class in this final game.
And we've got a quick shout over here from Orb as well. Misfits have moved on, so Team Endpoint are out. And that means that their new pickup of Archie is also out along with them, so Endpoint would have wanted more from that one, Gregan, and unfortunately they are done.
Yeah, and also that's massive for Misfits, because 2 of their biggest rivals in terms of getting into the wild card into Worlds, they've just knocked them out. Evil Genius' Endpoint above them, so that's going to be huge for them in the point standings. Jack gets a shot here. Opportunity now for Scrub. Can he think of something smart? He misses the ball. That's going to be an opportunity for Liquid where Joria is able to get back in time.
And Jorius looking to just try and transition, but it's not happening. Team Liquid, much more aggressive, much happier as Oski! Oh my goodness, Oski has just rinsed to Dignitas!
You want someone to step up in the final moments, bringing out one of the hardest mechanics to do in Rocket League against one of the strongest defensive lineups in Dignitas. Oski has just blown everyone's mind. Liquid have come to win this Game 5.
Okay, well, the question's gone. Oski knows how to do it in Game 5. That's good to know. Let's move on with the rest of his career. I'm looking forward to it as we do get ourselves a 2-goal lead for Liquid. Is it free? No, apparently Jack will deny it. But Dignitas rattled. They were in so much control heading into this. And now it is quickly disappeared from their grasp. A Chronic takes his own opportunity. 0 boost. He can't do any more with that, but he did so well to start with, as half the game has just disappeared in a blur of Team Liquid brilliance. As a Chronic once again. It's just like that confidence just bleeds on over, doesn't it? Now Chronic going for everything he can. He thinks that he can pull off these sort of plays. Heck, for all we know, he might just be able to put this game away. Oski now, last one back. Apparently Jack looks for a player. Not going to happen. Until just underneath the ball. And the game settles down a little bit. Dignitas need to get something from this play. Oski was bumped, but nobody around. Joris in the rotation back.
Oh, good play. Scrub Killer needs a good shot here. Sends it straight down the middle. Chronic able to save it away. And all of these opportunities, Liquid are positioning so well to defend and save them. We need to see threatening shots here from Dig. They're trying to open up the space for each other, and they just can't get that final blow.
And it's quite simple right now for Team Liquid. It's Operation Oski. Let him jump into the air and air dribble for as long as you possibly can. He's beat on this occasion. It was never going to be that easy.
The 50-50s from Scrub have been so key this whole series. And you see there, he pops it out high to his teammate. Jorius with an immaculate read, gets up high, gets up early, sends it to the net powerfully. And that's going to give them 1 goal now to try and claw back into this game. Liquid have to test their patience now. Can they play smart? Can they keep in control of this ball? Or will they overcommit like we saw them do earlier on? This is that vital moment for them to define their careers.
Apparently Jack has got Joris, but he's got no chance to get over to him. Oski having none of it. As the shot coming in has no real power on it. Pop up. Nobody from Dignitas following, instead spreading out, getting themselves ready. But look how quick the challenge is always coming in from Team Liquid. They are not willing to settle on their back foot. As you do wonder where those sort of challenges can go. Another huge demo. Joris takes his time. Does have a Chronic starting to move on in behind him. Now down to the final minute. When will the desperation play come from Dignitas? They need something big. Very brave with that one as Joris back to Jack. That's a little bit high, but almost the own goal. Instead, it's a monstrous save. Fine margins might send them through to the next round.
Oh, this pressure from Dignitas. They are throwing everything at Liquid. Liquid panicking in small moments here. But if they can hold off this for 30 seconds, they will stop the reverse sweep. They do not want to be known as a team that gets reverse swept. They need to finish this now. 25 seconds, Dignitas in control.
The ball very much in the midfield. Team Liquid shaving more time off the clock. Apparently Jack is in the midfield. He's waiting for it. Joris has got Jack to his left. Gets the ball over. No, it's intercepted. 2 players went for it, however. Dignitas can look to keep the play going. Instead, Oski over to the backboard. Great recovery from him. And they just need to get the ball onto the floor. Chased down from Joris. It's a little bit high. Apparently, Jack has got Scrub across the field. He aims for him instead. Atal swipes the ball away. And Team Liquid have made day 2.
That was incredible from Liquid. That final game, the goals they scored were so deserved. And it was that guy, Oski, with the double flip reset that really woke up Liquid to take that final game. They deny the reverse sweep. They send Dignitas out of the tournament and they make a statement. We're here for the future of Rocket League.
Orb. I mean, what else to say? Wow, Team Liquid. There were questions. There was always going to be questions. How do you deal with this situation?